a point in time where you have to stop giving a fuck.
Colorism is not as obvious as racism, and that's why it can be a little harder to detect. It's even harder to detect when you're not a victim of it. And I can admit there's been times where I fed into colorism without even realizing it. Even though I'm a black woman, I'm a light-skinned black woman, so colorism benefits me. I'm aware of that, I'm not ignorant to that, but at the same time, it really bothers me. Before we get any further with this video, let me just give an actual definition to colorism, just for the people who aren't clear on it. Colorism means prejudice or discrimination against individuals with a dark skin tone, typically amongst people of the same ethnic or racial group. So let's go all the way back to slavery. Dark-skinned blacks were forced to work in the field, while the light-skinned blacks got to work in the house. And why is that? It's because typically the light-skinned blacks, usually they were half white. And that's why they were seen as a little more superior than the dark-skinned blacks, the dark-skinned slaves. So they got special treatment, and that's a very important thing to keep in mind. And believe it or not, some of the upper-class light-skinned blacks created social clubs to exclude and distance themselves from dark-skinned blacks. One of these social clubs they created was called the Blue Vein Society. And in order to be accepted in the Blue Vein Society, you had to be light enough for your blue veins to show in your skin. And I don't know if you guys can tell because I have makeup on, but I have really dark blue veins on my eyelids and under my eyes. And that's something I've always been insecure about. That's always like, I guess, a flaw of mine that I didn't like. So it's kind of crazy to know that something that I don't like would have actually worked to my advantage. You know, if I would have been born around that time. And I don't know, it's kind of weird to me because it's like, who the fuck wants to walk around with dark ass blue veins on their skin like fucking Spider-Man? Like, I don't know, I just think that shit is weird, and it's not really something that I'm proud of, or it's not something that I take pride in. There was even such a thing called the brown paper bag test, where they would put a brown paper bag beside your face, and if you were darker than the brown paper bag, they wouldn't let you in some establishments. There were some establishments that did this, and this was practiced by some sororities, some clubs, and even churches. Now fast forward decades and decades later, and things aren't as bad, but it's still an issue, and we have to stop acting like it's not. I want to talk about colorism in the entertainment industry, because I feel like that's probably where it's the most obvious. So when I was a kid, I used to obsessively watch the Disney Channel, and I didn't really recognize it or see it as a problem at the time. But there was only two shows. There was only two shows starring black people. And that was That's So Raven and Proud Family. But guess what? Both of the stars of those two shows were the same complexion as me. And I know Disney Channel has made some improvements, but we still got some work to do. And I know at one point Beyonce and Rihanna were like the two biggest black female artists. And now we have SZA. And that's great and that's awesome and I love SZA. But we need more. It's not enough. We need more. Let's stop trying to act like this is just imaginary. It's not imaginary. It's a real thing. A lot of times when you're racially ambiguous, you have the benefit of appealing to both white people and black people. And it's cool, but at the same time, we have to remind And I hate to sound corny, but we have to remind our black people and our really, really deep melanated people that they are just as beautiful. You do not have to be exotic to be beautiful. And colorism isn't just a thing amongst the black community. It's something amongst the Latino community. It's something in the Asian community. So I feel like one of the first steps, I guess, to overcoming colorism, or I guess just to be more aware of it, is for people who benefit from colorism to actually acknowledge the fact that they benefit from colorism, and to not try to downplay the struggles that people who have darker skin go through. But I also think it's not healthy for dark-skinned people to attack light-skinned people because of their privilege, because that doesn't help either, because you have people who are pretty much part of the same group going against each other. And that's not ever what we want to do. You know, that's not really going to accomplish anything. But yeah, by the way, my mom is a dark-skinned black woman. And I love her to death. And please keep in mind that she had me when she was 15. But she would even just say little stuff like, oh, you're light-skinned, you can pull that off. You're light-skinned, that'll look cute on you. You're light-skinned, da-da-da-da. She would always kind of like highlight the fact that I was light-skinned, which I always thought was really weird, because I would think to myself like, Mom, you're dark-skinned, like, are you saying that I'm superior to dark-skinned people or something? And now I finally get it. I feel like that type of mentality comes from slavery. A lot of black people have that mentality from slavery, and they don't even realize it. Now, like I said, my mom was really young when she had me, so please keep that in mind. But yeah, I feel like little things like that, it really, I don't know, it really, I guess, gives, you know, some people who are, you know, of lighter complexion, it gives them like a superior complex, and that's not healthy. So I don't really know exactly how to completely, you know, overcome colorism. I don't know how we can completely overcome it as a race, as a community, as a people. But I definitely feel like the first step to overcoming it is acknowledging that it's real. Acknowledging that it's not just something that's made up or imaginary. And I also think that we have to check ourselves. We have to check ourselves when we find ourselves, you know, drawn to certain people or attracted to certain people. We have to ask ourselves why. Why are we attracted to this person? Why are we drawn to this person? And I will be the first to say that there has been times where I've caught myself like, whoa, if this person was dark-skinned, would I give them this much leeway? If this person was dark-skinned, would I find this behavior acceptable? And a lot of times you'll find, damn, I'm giving this other person special treatment, and you won't even realize it, but you are. So I think a lot of things are very deep-rooted, and we have a really, 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 really far way to go, and that's okay. But it's important for us to acknowledge that and to realize that, right? So I want to hear you guys' responses. I know y'all always have some very detailed responses, so I want to hear what you guys have to say. I want to hear you guys' opinions on colorism and, you know, anything related to that. As you can see, I've transformed into a different person, transformed into a different character. Yeah, and I don't really know why I did this. I'm just bored with myself, I guess. If only you guys knew how fucking long it takes me to record these goddamn videos. Yeah. And another thing, I know some of you guys are following me on social media. You know, some of you guys follow me on Instagram. Some of you guys follow me on Twitter. And I know I follow some of you guys back. But if I'm not following you back, let me know. Because a lot of times y'all motherfuckers be having completely different names, different pictures, where it's hard to fucking identify who you are. So let me know if you're following me on social media and I'm not following you back. And also, if you're not following me, why not? Make sure you are, because I don't post as much on YouTube as other YouTubers. Because like I said, I only post things when I have something to talk about and when I feel inspired. So yeah, that's a good way to keep up with me. You know, when I'm not posting on YouTube, you know, you can always follow me on IG. I'm always posting Instagram stories and, you know, sharing my thoughts. Yeah, or you can follow me on Twitter. You know, I tweet my thoughts. I'm a very expressive person, I guess, because I'm an artist. Yeah, that's all I have to say. I'll see y'all soon. Deuces. Bye. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Y'all hear my stomach? I'm hungry. You know that I'm carrying on. Never mind if I'm showing off. I was just fronting. You know I want you, babe. Alright. If you don't pay your rent, girl, you gon' have a fit, girl. You know you got a lot of issues. That's why a nigga can't be with you. I said, bitch, I'm too smooth. I'm not in the mood. Trying to make moves. Trying to make moves.